that's what superadmin means. It refers specifically to this network installation, and it seems to me like it also consolidates the functions of. It seems to consolidate a lot of the functions for like updates and mainly updates and the installation of plugins and whatnot.
Okay.
So I can't find. Is it Ocean Song? Is that your
Ocean Song? Yes. And so I definitely do not have that little updates.
I know. I'm adding you.
So then only the super admins have
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is something I didn't realize. So.
And I don't see. I logged out and logged in.
Well, I didn't do it yet, David. I'm doing it right in front.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it right in front of you guys. So if you don't see me do it, then it's not done. Now, Jana, you should be able to log in and log back out, and you'll be set. David, now you will be set if you log out and log in.
Okay.
And the last one is Christina. So you all are going to see a really different, yeah, it's going to look quite a bit different. Sorry, I didn't realize that you guys couldn't see that stuff. I mean, I had been coming in and doing updates whenever I logged in, but they pile up quickly. So
what sort of updates are they? Are they like...
well, this one I'm updating WordPress, you know. This is very important because it's for security issues.
So security updates.
Yeah, so you just click update now and it does it pretty quickly. If you're trying to log in right now, it may stop you.
Oh, it says briefly unavailable for scheduled maintenance.
There you go. Now it's updated.
Yeah, now I see the 11 updates. Yeah.
So, and I need to be added as just a regular admin.
I'll do that for you,
okay.
Now
Jamil,
super
so
admins can do that.
Cool.
So,
good.
And actually, even admins could. I showed you.
Right. I was about to do it, and I just got sidetracked with. Oops.
So now I'm just going to go ahead and select all these and just run the updates on them. These are all the plugins that need updates.
It's
You want to just write it down that way, and then we won't interrupt them.
That'll be easy.
So basically, you just go up and you hit the little icon that says there's 12 updates, and then you go through and just hit update on them. Is that the idea, or is there some process for determining?
Well, I mean, you're pretty much going to want to update all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So you
that's what I thought.
You just want to run it. You just want to update. Now you also have to update themes. So right now there's 3 themes. I don't think we're even using. Well, one theme for sure. So prototype is really important. That's what's the backbone of the main site. We're not using this one or this one, but there's no harm in updating it, or this one. So we're not even using these, but this one we are, and this is really important. This is the theme for the media group, as you can see. I based it on F8 Lite. It's based on that. There's a lot of complicated web design stuff that it's not going to be helpful for me to get into, but I think I should start with your questions. I'm just kind of focused on this for a minute just because I wanted to make sure that it was done, because this is important to do.
Definitely. And actually it's really good for us to see this is something that needs to be done and watch your process.
Yeah, so, but it is important to note, so like super admins, so this is my super admin menu, and notice that like it says network admin, Occupy Eugene sites, and so right now I'm not actually in the quote-unquote dashboard for either of these sites. It's actually for the whole installation. So I can do things here that affect the whole installation. For example, all-in-one calendar event is network activated, which means that it works on any site that we've created. And it's really easy to create a site, right? If you want a new site called, foreclosures, you could literally just go in here to sites, click add new, and just type in that much information, and you'd be able to have a new site. And the point I'm trying to make is that plugins, for example, can be activated across all the sites, certain plugins. And the ones I have activated are essential, except for this one. This is an image gallery, but this one, and this one you have to keep activated because they're just really necessary. So anyway,
those will stay activated by default, right?
Yeah, actually, once they're network activated, you can't even see them in the regular dashboard of a site, because it assumes that you don't want the users to be able to mess with it, and it wouldn't let them mess with it anyway. But if I go to plugins here, those ones that I just mentioned,
You're an existing user on the site already, though. Right?
Yeah.
Am I? Well,
Yeah,
Lauren
I-
tried to put me on once, and then it wouldn't let me log on, and that was quite a while ago. But it might still. have
It's a
my
capital
email.
K for Karen?
Yeah, it's not case sensitive.
Okay. Well,
So-
that makes sense.
So the calendar plugin said it was no longer supported. They came up with a new one. I know you all use this plugin. It's a great plugin, actually. So I just updated
That's
that.
not good. What does that mean? Do we need
No,
to change something?
No, it's I did. It doesn't look like it really affected much. So like if I go here, you can see that none of the ones I mentioned are even here because they're network activated. It means like they're already activated in the background. So a pretty key one that I showed Jana is this one called Gravity Forms. You all might know by now that we fixed the form for event submission or something, I think.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I tried to get people to use this way a long time ago, but as you can see, Jana basically made this very pretty form, and they're really easy to make, and I highly recommend using them. You can even have CAPTCHAs on them if you want. Like if you start getting spam, you can add a CAPTCHA.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Mary said, that we're getting a lot of spam on it and she'd like to have it.
Okay, so where does
so we're
request
getting
go to?
spam on our volunteer
Well, that-
database.
The volunteer.
Is actually where we're getting the spam.
Well,
I
I'm going to just add a CAPTCHA just so you can see. So it's under forms, or not forms, forms. So if I go to, just go to forms basically first, and it's going to show a list of the ones that we have. And event submission is the one that we made, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit edit. And this is all, like, to be frank, I mean, if you just mess around with it, you'll figure out how to use it. It's
Yeah.
really, really easy. So I'm going to click advanced here because I know that's where CAPTCHA is, and I just click CAPTCHA. And when I click it, it doesn't look like much happened, but down here it's stuck it in. So that's it. And then you just update the form, so now it has a CAPTCHA.
Alan Turing's
Do we
legacy.
want it for this one? This page?
I don't think we need one for that one.
I think actually
Well,
it's
actually,
good
maybe
practice
we
to put it on
do.
every single form you make. It's actually a good web design practice. You're actually supposed
Okay.
to do it.
Okay.
So you should
then
do
we'll
it.
do it.
And then what form are you getting?
It's actually the volunteer database, and I'm not. It's.
Well, a
so-
lot of people
Wasn't
like.
that
So,
under participate?
It's in. It's
volunteer?
actually in.
well,
I'm
so
trying to
what a
follow.
lot of people did initially was they, there's
Here.
like a real.
Occupy Eugene volunteer form. It's under
The database that-
No, it's under participate and then volunteer, and then go down and it'll. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Google.
I was gonna say.
This
I
is
thought
this
it
is
was
Google.
a Google
I mean,
thing.
it says Google Docs. So what I would do is I'd create, recreate this form. I think it's got way too much stuff in it. First of all, recreate the form using the plugin, using this forms plugin right here. You just create a new form. What I would do is have it like in two windows, like this, and just recreate the form using this. Just click add new. I'll actually just start it real quick, and then just you edit this page, and you drop the form in to that page. And I'll show you that in just a second. So, it's actually pretty straightforward what's in here. Standard fields, advanced fields. What is it? Name, address. I don't even know if you need someone's address. Really? I'm not sure about that. Phone maybe. Email seems reasonable. You can see how easy this is to do.
And definitely add the CAPTCHA at the bottom too, because that is the problem that we're having, is that we're getting a bunch of spam.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I added the CAPTCHA. So just to show you a little bit of the bells and whistles here, there's this form here. What is the best way to contact you? Well, you can actually do. You can just do a drop down. So, or even a checkbox is probably even easier.
Yeah.
So then you just say, You just click edit. It works kind of weird. Just so you know, when you click the buttons, it doesn't respond right away. Right, and then phone, email, meetings. I don't know, that wouldn't work. So anyway, there you go. See, and then you can set these up so that. So I did, what did I do? Oh yeah, you would do radio buttons if you only wanted them to click one, but it's better to do it this way because then they can click both options so that you know that either one works. Anyway, just to show you some of the bells and whistles, it really has a lot of possibilities. You can do a ton with this. One of the really great things about it is its routing system, which is
Thank you.
the routing system is.
And it's only the super admin that can
No.
make new forms?
No, this is all admin. The only super admin stuff is what I was showing you before.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
Okay.
This is.
So that would be on the dashboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you showing how this actually sends out the notification to
That's what I was
recipients?
about to show. Yeah. And one thing I'm not doing here right now is like clicking the little required boxes.
Right.
Because you do want to make certain things required just so that people either don't forget or give you enough information. But see this required box? So you click that if you wanted to make a field required, and obviously the email should be required or something. So like this is not in the right place. I want it underneath, so I'll just drag this up, like that. And now the form is actually, frankly, pretty much done.
Cool. That is very cool.
So if I save the form then, and then I click set up notifications,
Okay.
and then it takes you to the notifications.
How did you get into that, Jamil?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Well,
Look down.
Well, it came up as an option when I finished editing the form. But if I go back to this page, you can see that if I look at all the forms, you see how it says edit, notification, entries, preview, duplicate, delete. So notifications is right there. So for any of these forms, you can do that.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking about the volunteer form. So there's that. Here's the nested Google form right here on this other page. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it since we already have a form now. And then I'm just going to click the form button, add form, like that. My cursor is in the place already that I want it down there. So then I click add form, and then it brings this up, and I just select the correct one right there. When you click this button, it makes the form submit without refreshing the page. So it's kind of just looks cool. So that's it. It's added now. Just click update.
I don't know if you guys noticed, we have a new event submission form too. That
Yes.
was
Yeah.
it was a big deal at our last meeting. That was our major goal. So I just thought I wanted to make sure people
No,
knew
yeah.
The
it.
submission form used to be sent to the Google Doc that we used to get notifications on, right,
So it's
Christine?
not,
Yes.
are we not using the Google Doc anymore?
No, the
No.
Google Docs are complicated for fixing, from what I understood, and he recommends that we switch to this much easier process that everybody can.
So where's the notification going to go
Right.
for the events?
Right now, it's going to me, and we should decide who else wants it,
All right.
and then we can add whoever else wants to have the
So-
event submissions.
Okay, we could talk about that later when you.
Well, he just did it. He just did it up.
So I
that it
just
would be done.
did this, and basically I changed. This is a little bit confusing.
Why
If you
is
click
this
these, it
confusing?
explains. But basically, I changed Mary B's address to the email that it's going to send email to for notifications. Okay.
All right.
And then there was something in this field. It was the admin email. You make sure to remove the admin email because those go to me, and I don't really want to get these submissions. So, but from name is going to be the name the person enters into the form. This actually came from the form itself. Doesn't seem like it, but that's where it came from. And then email, same thing, came from the form. So it's going to look like the email is coming directly from the person that submitted the form. And then the reply to address is irrelevant, really. And then you can BCC to other people. So, you know, if every form that goes to Mary you want to be able to go to a committee or something like that, you could have it actually go to a whole committee's email address if you wanted to.
We could send it to all of ComCom
yeah.
or something.
Is this the
That's great.
volunteer form, or are we back?
This is the volunteer, yeah. See, it says it up here.
Gotcha.
And actually, the volunteer form, it makes sense to go to Mary because she's in the welcoming group.
Yeah. Well,
You should put me on it too because I'm also part of that group.
I think you can just do a comma delimited here, so
Oh yeah, yeah. Just like sending multiple email addresses. On
yeah, comma space, and then it's set. So we could also do a.
Oh, forms.
So you can actually have the user, you know, get an email once they've submitted the form too. Thank you, we've gotten your email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Cool.
So that you could do that if you wanted to as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Generally, I don't because the reason I don't is because if you go here, and like if we were submitting this form, what's going to happen is and here's this case. These are great CAPTCHAs too, they work excellent. So it actually gives you like a confirmation message. Thanks for contacting us, we'll touch with you shortly. Really the form should be up further, you know.
Oh, the confirmation?
Yeah, well, the whole form itself, because sometimes people don't scroll down the page. Now, there's tricks you can use too to kind of make the form smaller. Like, for example, we could have like a radio button, you know. And say, would you like to submit your information to the welcoming committee? You know how that form was really long that we were just, you know, we were just looking at? So we could say click here. And what I'm doing here is, so I've got this box, right? And if I throw it all the way up here toward the top, and then put a separator in between it, section break, and section break got stuck down here, so I'm going to drag it up here. We don't want the section break to say anything. We're actually just using this. What you can do is use a section break. When you hide a section break based on a condition, it hides everything beneath it. So if I click edit on the section break and just delete it and then go to advanced, I could say conditional logic, and what this says is show this field if all the following matches. This has to be clicked. So I know this is kind of complicated, but when I update that now and then I refresh here, what it's going to do is it's actually basically going to hide that whole entire form unless someone clicks that little box. I'm showing you just because you know, I'm just showing you the versatility of it. You can actually make a whole set of fields only appear based on a condition. If you don't, you know, if you don't want people to have to like see a whole shitload of form fields, you can make really complicated forms. In fact, you can make one form to handle all of your submissions, because the form could start out with, what would you like to, you know, what is your reason for contacting? Volunteer. It could be a bunch of radio buttons, and you click it, and then all the volunteer fields come up. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm going to ask a question that some people might be thinking is, what if somebody thinks they messed it up? Is there a revert anywhere in this program at all, or a backup or anything like that?
Messed what up?
Like if they thought they
Let's
did.
say they went to edit this form, and just totally got it wrong, and well, I would like to put it back the
So
way
an
it
undo
was.
button or
Yeah, but I don't
don't
see.
save.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like in web design field, what people typically will tell you is like, you know, there's no charge for space. You know, so if you're editing a if you're making a major update to a form, duplicate it, and work on the duplicate version and use a hidden page to test it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So that kind of thing's available in the program.
Yeah, I mean.
How do we use a hidden page? That's something that I've never
if you go to
done
posts and you make a new post, if you make it a draft, it's not visible.
I've seen that
except
option
to
in the
administrators.
draft, yeah. Okay.
So this is the draft option right here, save draft.
Right.
And then you could also do visibility, you know, is private. And that means
Alright.
people, only logged in people will see it. So theoretically you could have a page that almost operates as like a wiki that explains how to use certain things. A whole set of hidden pages that you say, well, once you're logged in, a new menu item will appear or whatever, and you can see all these pages that are only viewable to people that are administrators. I should start on your questions though, because I'm kind of getting off track here. So what are the questions?
Well, I wanted to know, just based on what you just showed us, I don't remember, like for the Occupy Eugene submissions and requests, if I wanted to change the emails that it went to, does that happen here? Because what comes after that is confusing to me.
Okay, so there's an edit button here. That's actually the edit button for the page. I think in Gravity Forms we can make it so that the edit button for the form appears also, but no, if you want to change notifications, you have to go to Forms, and then you click Notifications and any one of the one that you want. So
Yeah, I'm actually on the page, but I'm not sure that I'm putting the email addresses where they should, because I don't get what comes after. Like I just put my email address here. It says please select one.
Did you remove someone else's email address?
Jennifer.
Okay, because does that not need to be there?
She's not been really involved with this.
So which form is it?
It's the notification, so the submissions and requests.
Okay, so this form is a little more complicated. So this one is routing to a particular person based on the answer to a question. So one of the questions is, please select one of the options below. It probably refers to what type of event is it. If you look at the form itself, you'd know. Okay, so let's go to the event form so you can see. So there's a question here that corresponds to this. Wait, event submission. Wait, submissions and requests?
Yeah,
are you using this form?
I was just gonna say, Jamil, we didn't when we put the send to on it. Jennifer was not on our list.
Who is okay? What is this form used for?
I don't. I have no idea. This is different than what we have connected to our event submission page right now. That's for sure.
Is it?
Because what we connected to our event submission page is what Jamil just went to. We just made that the other day. So I don't know where that page is. What is this? Isn't the one that's attached to Google that we eliminated, is it?
No. This is a form. It's just not being used. This is one that I made a long time ago to
agendas.
Yeah, to deal with agendas. So just ignore it, or we can delete it.
Oh, you know, it's the I meant to click on the event submission form. I just chose the
Okay, but anyway, it's the same issue. The same issue is in the event submissions form. So if we go to the event submissions form and hit notifications, what we'll see is that this question, event type, is conditioning where the emails go. Okay, so if you put your email here, then you're going to get emails when the person selects Occupy event. If you put it in this one, you're going to get an email when it's an ally event or whatever. And remember that if you edit the form and like you take out this, it's going to kind of screw the notifications up, so you have to go back in there and change it.
How many addresses can be added?
Yeah, and you can add more. You know, I just did Jana's for all of them.
It was just because we didn't have anybody that had already volunteered to take them, and so we just added my name because it was somebody rather than nobody.
Yeah.
Right below send an email, it says email, and then there's routing radio buttons. What's the difference between email and routing?
Well, that's exactly what I just explained. Is that if you route it, what it means is that you're routing it to someone based on a condition that comes from the form, that comes from user input. So the user is, we're forcing the user to answer the event type question. We're saying what kind of event is it we need to know, and whatever they put in, then that depends where the email goes. And that's, again, that's what makes the forms really powerful. I mean, if you had a question like that at the beginning, you could not only route, you could also make a whole set of different form fields appear based on that question too, using that conditional logic that I was explaining.
Oh, okay.
So this is a really sophisticated, this is hundreds of dollars. This is something I paid for as a developer. So it's a very, very good program, basically, a piece of software. You can use it actually even to sell things, believe it or not. You can use it, it actually allows you to create a list of items to sell, like a store. You can insert pictures into a post and have people like check a box if they want to buy a t-shirt or something, and then there's even a little extra plugin that routes them to PayPal if you have a PayPal account.
So this is actually not true open source then, if you paid for it, obviously.
Well, I mean, some plugins basically they'll have a standard really shit. I mean, the way it's the way it's changed nowadays is that there's standard versions of things, and there's like, more deluxe versions where there's better support communities. That's not to say it's with every plugin, but this one is, it's very sophisticated. It requires a lot of really good programming. So yeah, but most of it is really open source. And the open source contact forms, to be honest, are just not very reliable. So, so that's why I don't use it.
So one of the things that Mary asked was how to link the newsletter website to the OE website.
Yeah, actually what it is about is that when you go to where it says newsletter, Occupy Eugene newsletter, it takes you to Chase's new website. And we do not want to go there. It takes you to his new website and it's not a working page.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we could take it to the Occupy Eugene newsletter's website where the new newsletter is at, or do we want to keep it internal? What do you think is best, Jamil? Should we?
I think he should route all visits to his site back to this original site.
And he has to do that on his end?
Yeah, he has to do that with his web service provider. He has to do that. It's in something called cPanel. I mean, if he's dropped it, I never agreed with it to begin with. I don't know. He never even consulted me, and no one even said anything to me before that happened, and I think it was a really bad... Not that I want to hold on to this. I told him, I said, if you're going to switch it, let's have a meeting, and so we can do it. And he never got back to me to have a meeting, and and it was a major clusterfuck. It was really, really bad idea.
To be honest, he created the whole new website, and when he held the first website meeting, it was to show us what he had already created, this whole thing. And right from the beginning, there was a little bit where it seemed like it was a bit of trying to force it to happen. And when it finally went through the GA enough, it came to a place where it just couldn't work because he wasn't supporting it enough for it to work.
It's neither here nor there at this point, but I do think you should just say to him, look, we need you to do this soon. And what's going to happen is that any page that someone tries to access at this URL, which is occupyeugene.net, will then get forwarded automatically to this site. Now that means that if there is pages that are getting used on this site, and for example, he set up a whole new forum system, which again, we went through a lot of time trying to figure out a forum system, and I actually think this site looks nice in terms of the theme, and you could change the theme to look like this on the current site. They're basically the same installation.
I like the original one personally.
Yeah, well, anyway, all the requests will go to the old site, but that also means that if there's pages that are being visited that that people use, and I don't know, like if there are, you'd have to look at the statistics, then it might create a lot of errors because we don't have a page called process. Just imagine occupyeugene.net changing to occupyeugene.media.org. That's what's going to happen instantaneously, no matter what link someone clicks, once he does what I'm suggesting that he does. So the only thing to consider is that, if people are using this site at all, you're going to want to make sure to either create redirections or to I guess just ignore some requests.
I think that what we were going to go with was what I believe you first suggested, which was instead of occupyeugene.net arriving at occupyeugene.net, it will take you to occupyeugenemedia.org.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm saying that this is out there on the World Wide Web, and if anyone is using this site, then when that redirect happens, there's going to be errors because we don't have the page called process on the site that I'm saying. You're right.
So there's no place for it to
Yeah, so there's no place, so it's just going to be an error, but it's okay. I mean, I don't think there was that much traffic necessarily directed to it, but like the newsletter requests at least, those actually should be fine because I think if you type in newsletter here.
Well, I was under the impression that I was told that the occupier got its own website, but when I go to it, it seems like it is...
I just logged
What's the
out
URL?
as network administrator, and clicked on the newsletter, and it took me to the newsletter site, but it's a subdomain of Chase's website.
This is what I was just...
Right,
That's exactly what I was about to say.
No, it's not.
It's...
No, this is part of our website. It's a new... This is what he did. He created a networked site, I think.
Well, but I think what they're saying is when you click on, click this link to download the Eugene Occupier. Is that what you're referring to?
When you're in our old site and you click on newsletter, it takes you to an...
Yeah, we know that.
But it's an offshoot. When you click on the new site, which is where I went to be able to try to figure out where is their newsletter website at, what's the URL, turns out it's in occupyeugene.net/occupier.
Well, this is so interesting. He created another subsite.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He just didn't add any users to it.
Oops.
That's interesting because now I am not even added as a user to administer that site.
Even though it's linked directly to your website.
Because he did it as a super admin and then he didn't add me in there.
Mm.
But I didn't, so he did actually what I suggested that he do. But then it looks like he kind of dropped. I mean, did you guys see it? It was actually a pretty nice looking site.
Yeah.
It's this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is part of our installation. It's called...
It's in Occupy Eugene Media? Really?
Yeah, I mean, look at the URL. And also look at the fact that you can... I mean, I'm logged into it.
Well,
That's so bizarre because look at the URL that I'm at.
occupyeugene.net/occupier/current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine says.
That's what I'm at, is a .net. But how in the world are you...
Well, no, I think... Okay, so look. Where you guys are is here.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, I got here by just typing in a random URL that doesn't appear to be linked. I just typed the word newsletter. I think this is how he originally did it. I actually like this theme. So let me see if I can... I have to actually fix what he did here. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd also like to know how to update the PDF file of the current occupier. I asked him to either tell me that or to do that himself, and to no avail.
There it is, newsletter. Okay, so here we go. There's only 2 users, Oregon, Vermont. I don't know. That's I know who that is.
Yeah, it's
So I'm going to add now.
there.
I need to add some administrators here. So now I'm adding you.
I think it doesn't have the A.
What?
It was, yeah, there you go.
Oh, so actually, see if you notice, it actually comes up when I start.
It's giving it's the wrong email address though.
Well, that's the email address it has for your user. I can try to change it in just a second.
Okay. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, what email address do you want?
I use Greenfuels Info. That's like an ancient email address.
Well, that's just what's in your profile. So.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised because it was preoccupy that particular email address. That's all.
Could you add me because I've been working with newsletter and it would be
Yes.
good to have access to that.
So this is really good. This is great, actually. So this is where I would redirect occupyeugene.net. newsletter. Well, yeah, if this place that we were at here. Wait, it said newsletter after it or something, didn't it? Occupier.
It said Occupy Eugene.
There it is. Current.
Yeah.
So this, or just even just the occupier. So I guess what I'm saying is when he does it. So look, I'm going to actually put this in place and I'll explain. Let me just add a couple of people here. So I'm gonna add another administrator. It was Christina.
Yep.
If you want to add me, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think a few of us on each of these things would be really good because then, you know, their bases are covered.
Back up.
My profile is actually messed up too. I just noticed. Okay. All right, and then the last one I was going to add was what was
David, at Rise Up.
And Jenna's only added as an author.
Who?
Me.
Jenna, the role, she was added as an author.
Well, you're a super admin, so I don't think it makes any difference. You can change yourself to an admin
That's
for
fine.
this site, I think. So wait, is that everybody listed there?
Yes.
David.
Okay, so now when you all log in, now you're going to see all three, see? Because I just changed mine.
Nice.
I might add Vicky, I'll ask her.
Yeah, so you can
do
add
that
her as a
later.
super admin now. So, okay, so what I was saying is, when we change this, when we redirect back to this site, one thing I want to happen is if someone typed this URL into their browser, when Chester changed what I'm suggesting he changes, I want that to go to a specific place. Because if I type it in now, it's most likely not going to go anywhere. It shouldn't, unless someone put a page in. See? So it's an error, right? So there's another really sophisticated plugin that hopefully you guys won't have to use too much, but it actually is really powerful and useful. It's just called redirection. And that's what it does, is it redirects things. And it's simple as putting in a URL that you want it to start. So if someone types that in, basically the source, then I want it to go to newsletter instead. So when I add that, now if I go to that same URL again, occupier, watch, it's just going to switch. Oh, and it didn't. Is that because
I think
Was
you
it
might have.
Occupy
I wondered if I'd
Eugene
missed.
.net?
I didn't see a slash, but maybe it was there and I missed it. No, it is there.
So basically, though, you're preserving the link on the Occupy Media page.
There we go. Yeah, what
and the
I'm
newsletter.
yeah, so
The way it was set up.
Mhm.
Okay.
and what I just did, it obviously doesn't affect when I hit this because this hasn't been changed yet. The OccupyEugene.net hasn't been changed yet, but once it's changed, essentially this is going to transform right into OccupyEugeneMedia.org, and then it's going to try to go here. And if it did that, it's would
would
go
error.
here.
But
So-
instead, now it will go there.
Well, for now, it's going to the old site. But if I now just notice that, oh, it didn't work again. I'm not sure why that is not working. It's kind of weird. But I'll have to look into that. That's weird. But anyway, it should work, and it may just not be working because of the slashes or something like that. I'm not totally sure what's going on here. You shouldn't have to actually do the slashes at all. Slashes shouldn't make any difference. I actually thought it didn't need the slash. Anyway, wait, did it leave the slash or did it not? Oh, it left it, okay. Maybe you do need the slash, I don't know. I guess I do have the slash in all of these, so that is important. So this plugin is super useful, actually. Like, for example, I taught people who did the calendar events to use it, and the reason I taught the people who did the calendar events to use it is that you know our calendar system, where is it here? We don't even use all these old forum things. Events, our event system. So you know when you add an event in this system, it creates a post. But those posts don't appear in the main thing. So like if I view this post, this ComCom meeting, I don't know, do you guys even use this anymore?
I made that one.
Okay, so see how it made a post in this kind of in the event plugin place? Well, that you don't see this. In some cases, you might want people to see the event here, right?
Yeah.
And the way that you would do that is that you would create a post, name it, make an abstract, but then when someone clicked that post, instead of it going to the actual page that you made, you wouldn't even, you know, like to the body of the page, you would redirect it to the calendar event.
Oh, okay.
So that's what that redirect plugin is really useful for. You just and then you just redirect it, and that way you don't have to, you know, do 2 posts. You just do 1 post.
That's significant for you,
nice.
since you were going to take on both those chores. You could make it so it's only 1 chore again.
It should only be 1 chore. I had taught everybody how to do it, but
You know how to do that?
Yeah, Tree
Yeah.
never showed us. Like when
Yeah.
I when
Yeah, I was shown how to just do it as 2 separate
Yeah.
tasks. You know, you
Yeah,
make
me too.
the web post and then go to the calendar.
yeah,
and add it.
it's really bad form. You want to do it that way. It saves a lot of time, and it also is just really, it's just much more, it's better in web design terms too.
Well, I'd rather do it the easier way.
Yeah.
So
do you
we-
know how to do
What's
that?
happened
Do you know
is
how
that
to do
someone
that
would
now?
edit
No,
one
I don't.
post and not the other.
So-
then they
Right.
would
So
line up.
Jamil, can you explain what that process is? Because we don't know it. We
Okay,
don't know how
so
to do that.
so like if I go to make a new post,
All right.
like say let's just pick an event.
the Heal group, that's what we were working on today. She made something in Facebook about it.
Okay.
It's on noon on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
I don't see it here.
Oh,
It's not on
it's
there.
not. I thought we were adding something, so I
Well,
was.
what I wanted to do, well, I wanted to add something that was going to be like a post as well. I'll just.
It could be
I'll
a
just
post,
very
too.
briefly, just to show you, just as an example. Let's just assume that we wanted to point this to this event, this finance committee event. Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to just pull it up into its own window. Here, this is the. I really don't like how this loads now. It's kind of annoying. In any case, so this is the URL that I'm interested in trying to redirect to, and I want this when someone clicks this for it to go here. So I get kind of both of these into my clipboard. I have clipboard memory, which you may not have, but it's useful for this purpose. And then I go to the back end, and I go to my redirect plugin, which is under Tools. There's a lot of things here, but actually all of these are just totally unused. So you can pretty much ignore those.
The forums are used. We
Oh well.
we put minutes up on the forums.
But that's a different forum system. What you're talking about is it should be at least here. It should look like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's different. So this actually is the old, way old forum system. I think we should probably just delete
Good
this.
idea.
But the reason we didn't is that it had a bunch of really old notes and meeting minutes and stuff. It's kind of for posterity reasons.
I would leave it there
I would
in
leave it
that.
if it's got documentation in there.
So Jamil, could we just like very quickly create a post and link it to the calendar? Because we do have something we can do.
Yeah,
that
the
for.
Heal event.
And
That's
that
what I thought
way,
we were talking about.
you know,
doing.
we'll
Okay, go ahead. Tell me what it is. Go ahead.
It's called Helping Enable Activist Lifestyle, and it's a yoga event, an event with yoga with John Monroe, leading on Saturdays and Tuesdays at noon. It's yoga,
Yeah, and then we
basically
can
yoga
change
and
it.
meditation. Yeah, and I can change the details. You don't even have to worry about the details
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But
Join John Monroe
yeah,
for
join John Monroe.
I'm just gonna say just
for yoga
Yeah.
session.
So remember, you have to always fill this down here. This is what I was saying. This is actually more important than this. In fact, for what I'm doing right now, this is irrelevant. What's in the body because they're not even going to see this.
Really?
They're only going to see this.
So how did you get it down there?
Copy and paste.
I
Oh,
just-
okay. You move quickly. Okay.
I did warn you guys in the email, remember?
And then you got the option to choose which kind of category.
Yeah, but this is just
Okay.
a regular post that I'm doing, so
Right.
it should be categorized as event.
Okay.
But we want it on the calendar because it's a weekly
Right.
thing.
He's gonna make the post.
I'm getting
Okay,
there. I'm
okay.
getting there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually save this as a draft. Okay. And I'll go ahead and preview the post and kind of look at it. The problem is it doesn't have the correct URL yet, but that's okay. We'll get back to that. So now this is the post that I want to redirect now to an event, and then to create an event, we'll go to new event, and then
That is a new thing. It used to never ask me that.
yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's doing that so that it can. It's just doing that so that
Oh,
it
I
can,
see, because it's part of the event.
right.
Okay.
So then we're adding an event, right? Where is it at?
The universal
You
Unitarian.
yeah,
UU Church.
the
So,
UU
so
Church.
you still are creating a calendar event.
Well, the calendar event is
separately.
actually the main thing that I'm creating. So
That's what you're working on right now. The part that Lee was asking about was being able to link the two.
well, I have to create the event to link it. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
Okay. Exactly. I see what's going on.
So anyway, so what time is it at?
12
Noon.
p.m.
And 12 p.m. When's it start?
It starts this Saturday the 30th, and it goes on Saturdays and Sundays.
On Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, that's when it's.
Tuesdays,
Ongoing.
Tuesdays and Saturdays?
Yep.
Does it make it complicated?
No, it doesn't
It's
actually.
actually really easy as far as this goes.
I've actually used this feature before, but I don't think I ever chose.
Do you know
two-
when it
2 days.
ends?
It's ongoing.
1:30 is kind of.
No, I mean the whole
2
series.
Oh no, it's
on
ongoing.
target date.
No ending so far.
I'm just gonna say after
100.
50 times, just because I doubt it'll go on that long anyway. Anyway, doesn't really make that much of a difference. It is good use. It's useful to do that sometimes, just because it floods the calendar forever. And you said it was Universalist.
The
Yeah.
UU Church. Yeah.
So I don't need to put this in, but so actually, you can. I always show the Google Map and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And then you always have to put this in. You should always put this in.
How did you pull up the email, or is that your personal?
Yeah, it's my.
Okay, never
my
mind. I was like, is that in there?
no. Definitely. So then this is where you would put all the information. This is where you really is where it should be comprehensively explained what it is, and this is just going to be like a general events, I guess, or workshops and trainings, or I don't know, ongoing events. I don't know. We'll just say general event. And then I'll just go ahead and publish it because it's fine. This is pretty much ready to publish. And then you guys can edit it. So then again, I had this page, which I'm actually going to just publish it so I can get the actual URL. You got to remember that you need the permanent URL, and if you change the date, for example, that changes the URL because the date is in the URL. See 2013-328. So if you change the date, you just have to notice that you're going to affect it. So I want people, when they click on this, which now is going to be on our main page, by the way, they're going to go to this event. So I want to view the event, and it would probably be good to actually take that out, that little instance part, because it changes its instance, I guess. The instance. Yeah, no, this is fine. It'll always go here because it'll show up on the calendar differently, but it should always go to this event. Okay, so I have my two URLs. One of them was this, and the other one was this. And now I can go to Tools, Redirection.
How did you make it create a blog post and
There
the
it
calendar
is.
post at the same time?
He didn't. He did them separately.
I did them separately. So this is the event post. This is the now this is like a regular post, and now I want the regular post to redirect to the event. So now I have those two URLs. See, this is the event one. Wait.
So the source URL, we can't see the whole thing. It's kind of the monitors in the way. Okay, so the source URL is the web post, and then the second URL you got down there is the calendar.
Well, yeah. So source and target, right? So
Yeah,
the target is
gotcha.
the important one. That's where
Right.
you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that it has this sort of event part. It always has this part of it. So then I just hit add redirection. So now if I go back to the main page of the site and click this, if it's working correctly, it should take us to our event. And it does. So I don't know why it's loading so slowly, but
Yeah, it is going slow.
I thought you had said that there was a way to make the post and the calendar event in the same.
I think.
well, I'm saying that for all intents and purposes, it's the same post because the body of it, you don't need to change. It's just you're only creating the post in like the main post area, just so that it appears
Okay.
in that column. Because like I could change the programming and make anytime you click an event, anytime you create an event, also appear in that main section, right? And when I say the main section here, I mean this middle column, right? But then if I did that, it would be bad because you don't want everything to appear in that middle column. You only want certain maybe like featured events or certain events.
Okay.
So what this is doing is I mean like whoever did this post, for example, like this is way too much in an abstract. All I'm saying is you create a little chunk of text that draws attention to the fact that this is going on your main page, so that you can draw attention to the basically it's to this event right. It should be up here, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, so the idea really is that you don't have to make a body at all. You can just put a short little excerpt in your blog post. So you actually make the blog post, but you put a short little excerpt is all, and then you make the main information in the featured event, and then you redirect it to the featured event so that instead of it going to a main page attached to the blog post, it will go to the featured event.
Right. So just to show you, whoever did this post right here, this nuclear awareness
Yes,
week.
I did it.
Okay, so it's okay.
And it's because it was 5 different days and it was meant to be everything at once. It was an ongoing week, a whole week's worth of stuff.
I mean, that's fine.
I don't usually make them that long is the point.
Okay, so she knew what she was doing, but just to show you the reason why, I mean, because it basically it defeats the point of having a
The
body.
excerpt,
because
yeah.
it's all the excerpt, because it's all, she put the whole entire post content in there.
I
But the
did.
reason it appears that way is because all of this is in this field. This is actually really important. This is the kind of like little, it's kind of like the excerpt, that you see. It's a lot of these look good. Like I assume if I click this, there might be more in the body of the post. There's not in this case. But
Most of
there
them
potentially
aren't.
could be.
There's more on that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just showing you that.
A little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that one goes to the calendar.
Yeah. I wonder who did that. But anyway, yeah. So there's your redirections. Really useful.
So where's the redirection at?
Under tools.
Under tools. Okay.
I'd say that the two things that you probably didn't know about that are really important are this plugin, this redirection, and then forms.
All right.
Is what we went over before.
So when we have the page open for, like when we're trying to get it to go to, here, let me get it. My computer. When we want it to go to the particular URL, like in the newsletter, and we just go to pages, right? And then in the pages, it will have a place where we can change the URL so that it actually goes where we want it to.
Well, no, what I was having you go to the page for was to copy the URL, so you can figure out what it is. But this is where you have to enter it in for it to change its location.
Okay.
You have to go to this page. You cannot go. I mean, I assume you said page. You mean posts?
Yeah, like when you go to the actual Well, where it's at right now, where like if you're in the main Occupy Eugene website and you go to hit the newsletter and you end up in the different
right. Okay,
location.
so that's actually a little bit different. So what you're talking about is this link here.
Yeah, like when you,
so
how do you change it?
This is edited differently. This is not a post. It's not a page. It's a menu link, and the menu items are edited under menus. Okay, so if I click menus, now what it's going to show me is the specific, there's actually, you can create different menus for different places. I think what we're looking at here is the main menu. And so all this shit is part of the menu, and it's long and relatively confusing, and it's actually way too complicated. It needs to be changed, and we had an idea to change it, but here is where he put that link in.
So we need to change that.
And it could go to newsletter now if you wanted it to.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
But see, what I'm going to do, just to cover my bases again, is I'm going to put newsletter in here and save it. But then I'm also going to go back to the redirects page and make sure that if, you know, in case there's someone externally linked to that page, oh wait, no, actually never mind, forget what I said, because I was thinking this was going internally already, but it's not, it's going externally. So I actually have to change this.
Yeah. So actually this menu stuff might be one of the top things that I need to understand how to do on the website, because there's some serious issues with the menus that need to be addressed.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also Ajax.
I can help you with some of that.
Yeah. I mean, media
some of what Jamil's doing is a little too complicated for me, but as far as like I was just looking at the committees list and stuff like that, and you know, send out the word and maybe figure out who's.
I've done that recently, actually.
Okay, cool.
I did do that recently.
I'll talk about it too later, but that would be easy for me since I'm, like I say, I'm not quite ready to do some
Helping fix the menus would be really good for the media group, because one of the things that really needs to happen is all the media needs to be in a way that we, I mean, there's media here and media there. Yeah. It's like under 3 different menus.
So, are you still using this other site?
We has to get rid of it.
No, that site is totally different. That's the Occupy Eugene Media Group site, and we're
I would love to see you update this site, because this is the site that shows up like second on the Google list, and it's, you know, all we need to do is add links to.
Really, this shows up second on the Google list?
If you Google like Occupy Eugene Radio or TV or something, I think this is like the second one, and it's really.
I'm not ready to give it up anyway. Is the bottom line.
This site is great, actually. I spent a lot of time doing this site.
I think this site is really
I was having trouble.
Need to update the content, like just put in a whole bunch of.
First of all, I need to fix the terrible menu thing I did, which needs to go away. I was just trying to figure out.
So just so you know, the simple way to fix what you did here is just to nest some of the menu items. You know, like for example, like you could nest this under here and this under here and this under here, and then it's just gonna.
I can totally change it, because we actually have a list of the menu that we want that's the way we want it, which is different than all this. I was actually just practicing putting the stuff in the menu because I'd finally figured out how to do it. But that's interesting to know. So, and to nest it, you just have to...
You just kind of drag it slightly.
Drag it up and stick it inside of there.
See how it indents? That means it's going to be indented. So, so if I go here now, it's already going to be fixed. So. See, if you hover, then you see all these other things. So you want to change the name slightly. Yeah,
I want to change it to Occupy Media, but I'll change it. I'll play with that.
But I'm just saying, yeah. So this should be relatively easy to do. And as you can see in the menu area, you have lots of options. It actually gives you the list of pages that you have, which are different than posts. But you can link to, you know, a custom place. You can link to a category. So you can do all kinds of stuff here. But yeah, so that's another you know, and by the way, this also is on this left-hand side here in appearance. There's themes, widgets. Widgets is the other really, really important area, obviously. And, you know, there's a widget that I use a lot that, yeah, here it is, query post. This widget, you'll see it in the original site too, and it looks really, really complicated, but it's actually one of the best and most sophisticated tools, because what it allows you to do is to, for example, only show a set of posts that are, you know, from a particular category, or you could even see this is category that's named number 7, have a particular page or tag as well. You can do all kinds of really sophisticated stuff. But you know what I'd say to you guys is just a general point. You know, if you're a little bit web savvy, what you'll want to do is just pay attention to the name of the widget, and then just search for it. You know, like that. See, query post widget WordPress, and most likely, oh, that's the internet connection. That's why it's going slow. And there you go. So there's the actual plugin, and also you could find it in our plugins. And you know, there's support, for example. There's FAQ that explains stuff about it. So just if you want to get on your own initiative a little bit, that's what I'd suggest doing. Just note that you can, any of the plugins especially, right? And a lot of the widgets that we use are actually plugins. You can just search, you know, for documentation, and I encourage you to just try to read it, even if you don't think you're web savvy, because a lot of this stuff is made really user friendly.
What do you mean by search for?
So, like for example, you have our events widget, right?
Yeah.
Which is, if I click settings on it, usually if you click settings on something, it'll show you. So this is made by this group of people, and we're using the standard one, and they have basic support. And so you could click this if you wanted to learn, you know, for example, maybe you want to figure out how do I integrate a Google Calendar, which you can actually do. You can probably click the support button and get some answers on things like that. It's actually right here, calendar feeds. So you can actually use Google Calendar and integrate it into the calendar.
So what about something like, one of the things that the media group had wanted to do for a long time is put a widget, instead of the media stuff even coming up on the toolbar really at all, for us to just have a little square on the page next to the blog post that says Occupy Media, and that would take you to this separate thing that you did for us. And so how would we go about putting an, you know, something like that?
Well, I mean, if you go to widgets, it's under appearance. I wish I could just remove. I could deactivate it, and that probably it wouldn't delete everything, but at least I could deactivate it because it's not being used. So go to appearance and widgets, and what you're suggesting is that you just want a little image to appear.
Yeah, like an icon where we can put a short little sentence that says, to see Occupy Media, go to, you know, whatever. The Occupy Eugene Media Group has much to offer, and, you know, and that would be the little widget that has a little something about the media group, and then you could, and that linking from there would take you to all the media information, rather than there being 10 different drop-down menu moments that have to do with media.
Yeah, I understand. There's a really useful widget that you all should know how to use, which is just called text, and it basically just allows you to put a chunk of text. It's this one right here, and I just removed something because I realized that this was really confusing. The main ones that you're using here are subsidiary. It looks like, yeah, you're not even using that. So it's like subsidiary, secondary. So these refer to places on the web page. So if I go here, subsidiary, secondary. Okay, yeah. So one of those refers to this bottom part here. Mm-hmm. Events, news, media, arts, options. So if I go back to the widgets here, that's that. So that's the subsidiary. It's at the bottom, and then this refers to the left and right. So if I wanted, you know, to put some, like a text widget in here, I would just drag it over. And I could just say, you know, Occupy Eugene Media. I don't know what you'd want to say, and the tricky part though is that if you wanted an image, you'd have to do some HTML to get an image in there, because you can't just drag an image into here. But it's really not that hard. So if I save it and then I go to media and I had an image I wanted to upload, I'll just use this as an example. Say I uploaded this image. If I click here, it will give me the URL for this image, which is right here. But the easiest way to do this actually is to go to a post. I'm trying to figure out a way for you to do what you're asking to do without knowing HTML. Which I assume you don't know.
I know a little HTML.
If you know HTML, then you just have to use
reference the image.
Yeah, you just do the IMG link.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm not seeing the actual. That's weird. It's not giving me the direct URL. Oh wait, I just realized you're having a problem. Oh man, I completely forgot about this. You're having a problem with the featured image.
I can't get
appearing.
the featured images to work.
Okay.
Exactly. Very true. That was
Well,
actually one of the next
week.
questions that I was gonna throw in there, but I thought I would get the really hard stuff asked first.
Weird. Okay, so I actually really need I just realized I really need to fix that for you, because I know how to fix it, and it's actually probably going to create some problems here. Uh-oh, my authentication failed. Oh no. Just so you all know, this thing that keeps coming up, this is like my favorite program in the world. It's called LaunchPar. You should get it if you use your computer a lot. It's great. It's this thing right here.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's at ObDev. I hope that works. It should work. Alright. Okay, so this was, this is featured. Ah, this is it. I can't believe I didn't remove that. I'm sorry. Okay, so that should be fixed now. Whoops.
So I take it that's like the back end of the back end?
Yeah, that's the, I mean, if you really know coding, you could give you access to that.
We don't even want to go
So
there.
it might actually start showing all the images now. It might start showing, oh yeah, it does.
How nice. Oh man, I thought I was going to lose my mind over that thing.
So
it's
anyway,
like several times that we've had this problem, and I'm just like 2 hours worth of trying to figure out why it's not saving it and putting it in there.
So if you're using HTML, which version, Jamil?
well, it's PHP.
Is it PHP?
Yeah, this is all PHP.
I've actually had that class too, but I wouldn't call myself knowledgeable.
Yeah. This is actually not. Essentially, what this is a plugin. This is basically what a plugin does. It, manipulates specific functions of the website. You know, it's actually what that is it's a functions file for this particular theme. So it's a set of functions that run. Like I'm determining here what how the blog name appears in the menu bar, like how that appears. In fact, right now it's appearing as Occupy Eugene, but that makes sense though because it's the home page. Anyway, so if you want to I think the plugin that I just created, the widget that I just added is already going to be there, but it's not going to have an image. And I was just saying, if you want an image to appear, if you know, did you all know that you were getting this?
No, first time ever seeing it.
What is that?
That's a message about the quota limit. It's saying that you can't upload anything more.
Really?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm changing it. It shouldn't have been set at 50 gigabytes. Anyway. Wait.
I noticed when you were in the images, and I saw one of the web posts I did, and I had to mess with the images and redo it. And my image was listed about 3 times, even though I actually only posted one.
Mm-hmm.
You really should try to make sure that you're not uploading
More than one?
Yeah, just you don't want to necessarily upload
He might have been having the same problem as me, because I think that happened to me too, because in this process of trying to get it to take the image, I kept trying to figure out how to get it up there, and I may have uploaded more than once too, because I couldn't get it to show up. I'm like...
Yeah, I see it twice.
It was also before I knew what size the picture had to be.
The 150.
So that's not going to work.
So
I swapped it out and put in another one.
Okay, so when I click on one of these anyway, and I click Insert into Post, you can see it there. And if you click Text, this is the HTML version, right?
Right.
Right.
So now when I click Text, I can see this is the part of the HTML that is actually it's the image. This is it's nested inside of a link. And the link is linking to here. So if I just take that part of it and then just get rid of what I just added and just update this, I'm not really doing anything with it right now.
So when I used to make blog posts, I would just upload an image from my hard drive.
Yeah, that's right. And all I'm showing you is that once you've uploaded it, I just showed you a way to get the HTML if you don't want to type it.
I see.
Because actually it's good to do it that way anyway, because if you noticed it had the image dimensions and everything in it. See? It has the width and the height, which even if you know HTML, you may not know that for the image. It's kind of hard to find sometimes. So anyway, I copy that little chunk, and then if I go back to widgets here, then I can finish my little project, which I was trying to create a widget that linked to, in this case we were going to link to the media webpage.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, there it is. There's what I created. Let's say I wanted to put it up here by upcoming events. So I would go into the widgets, and I would drag the text widget that I made right here. And then I'd open the text widget, paste in my little image, but now I want to make a link. So I am going to put this back in, and I'm just going to say occupy. What I usually do is I just go to where I want to link, and then I copy it. So I think it's called media group. There we go. So I just copy that URL. Oops, sorry, got all these tabs. Paste it in there. So that's where it's going to go, and then I kind of have to close that tag now. And then we're set. Now, widget logic is what this does is it helps you if you want this only to appear on the main page, you can actually do that. And I'm not going to tell you all the specific code that you have to use. You'd have to look at the documentation of this, but you'll notice it appearing in different places. If you see is home, that means it's only going to show up on the home page. So I save that. Now if I refresh this page, now we're going to get a nuke picture, a random picture here. I think that's going to slide down once this loads. I'm really not liking the way that's loading. And also that's weird that it's doing that.
But that's...
I think it's doing that. Okay, so this is complicated, but the reason it's doing that is because when I inserted it into the post page, it had a class associated with it that was align left, and that class it tells the image to float. And so when an HTML element is set to float, that means that it's going to push content up around it. So for example, these here are floated to the left. That's why this content is pushing up around it. Otherwise, if it wasn't floating, it would basically be blank all the way across. So you wouldn't have known that, but I have to get rid of this align left thing, essentially. And I'm actually going to get rid of that as well, but sorry. Maybe you should just use HTML if you know it. That will have fixed the problem. And you would never have known it, I guess, if you hadn't talked to me. But
so now we have a little widget there.
See, so then you would just change this
to our logo. Mm-hmm. We have a nice logo.
Yeah, and you don't know this either, but if I use the class align center, that I think should then make this image center, which you may want to do too.
And then can we put text underneath our logo so that we have like a little
you can do anything you want, and I'm just showing you, look, it's right here. So
I can just add it right there. Okay.
Add more text here, right?
Thank you.
I mean, I just pop that in, refresh, and I should see that.
Sweet.
It's probably good that you're videotaping, because I guess I know it went fast, but I
knew better. I knew we'd need it. I don't know how good the video is going to turn out, but it'll be good audio.
I can't stay, unfortunately, all night, so I need to know like what the priority questions are. Those are the ones I've gone over.
The featured image, the widget, the menus. So if we're trying to admin this site ourselves and take a bit of burden from you as far as that goes, obviously doing our updates would be really wise.
Yeah, the updates, you guys are good. You'll be able to do that. Now that you have super admin privileges, you'll see all that stuff now. That was the main thing. None of you even knew it was happening. I think if you knew it was happening, you would have queried and checked it out.
Yeah, I probably would have looked for that. So is there anything else, though, that would be good tasks that we as communications should take on?
You guys are doing fine as far as maintenance, I think. The main maintenance task is adding new content.
Yeah, that is so necessary.
Now, I noticed on the old, actually old, I'm hardly talking, but it's 5. The new site has a link to the Occupy Medical.
Yeah.
And maybe Occupy Medical wants to be linked back to
I tried to get them to do the same thing, to have their own nested site. Just like this. I mean, I told Chester to do this. When we went here. I mean, look at it. It looks... Notice something here, that this site right here, it looks as nice and it does everything that the new site that he was creating does. I mean, it's its own independent site with its own widgets. It can have its own separate users, its own administrators. That's why I set it up this way. It was so that we could expand but not have shit going on all over the place, and have a communications committee that they could then have access to all of our sites, to run the maintenance, to find the plugins, to purchase plugins if we wanted to for certain things.
Right.
You see how powerful it is? So it could just say occupyeugenemedia.org medical, and it could look totally different in whatever theme that they wanted. And I told them, I said, you should do this. And every committee that is, has sophisticated stuff going along, or sophisticated enough that they need a site, should be, this is where they should have their sites.
So basically, it's sort of a subdomain.
Yeah, it's almost exactly like a subdomain. And to boot, like I told you before, I don't have the plugin installed, but say they bought their own URL and they wanted it to be not that, but occupyeugenenewsletter.org. That could point then to here, so that when people type that in, it would be this page, and all they would, for all intents and purposes, they wouldn't even realize that they were even on sort of the back end. What they were seeing with the back end of it was our site.
I see.
So you can do that. That's just it's actually really cool. I think that's one of the nicest features, and there's just this great plugin to do that. But
Yeah.
So
What I would like to see, if if they're for it, is like on the main menu here where we got content, participate, forums, info, forums, newsletter, and maybe have medical to the right of that.
yeah, I know. Medical and media should be there because they have their own sites and their own content.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And newsletter already also has their own site, so those three should be there. And what you need to do with the menus is eliminate a significant amount of stuff, and just assume you can go to Google Analytics. I think this is, I've added people to Analytics before, but I have Analytics set up, I think.
that was actually my question that I was trying to get spit out, which is one of the things that Chase was saying was why he felt like we needed this new site was because we needed to be able to do the analytics stuff and know who the demographics and who's coming where to the site.
No, it's set up. No, Analytics.
So we can do that within this site.
Oh, yeah.
Without, because he seemed to.
It's not that you can do it; it's already being done.
Right,
It's
I
already
meant
happening.
that we can access it because he seemed to think that without cPanel access, we didn't have access to that information.
No, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just
Okay.
clueless, man. Told him so many times. Anyway, whatever.
So I'm happy to know because this is part of what we should
One of the things
know
you
how
can
to
do
do
with
this.
Google
So how
Analytics-
did you get here? I'm like,
well, this is logging in through my account, so I'd
Oh,
have to
okay.
add you as as a user, which I can easily do. But let's see who the users are. See, these are all people that were previously. I mean, Mary B is a user.
oh wow, she probably doesn't. She can't even figure out how to get into this site. But that, but
Oh,
this is good because that's how it. So maybe you should add the three of us again, if we can. Christina, David, and I. Is that
I wouldn't mind being on that too, because if I'm going to help you clean up the website a little bit, it would be
that would be awesome.
prioritized by which things.
I think
are being
that's a
hit.
good idea.
Yeah. So okay. Let me just do this real quick. So then we had
Christina.
I don't know if I have you in my address book, Christina. What's your email address?
GIULIA .c. last name Bellini @gmail.com.
Who else wants to be added?
David.
I know I have you in my previous addresses, David, but what is it, David?
David A @riseup.net.
Nice simple email
And
like
then
that.
here's Karen's. She already
Yeah,
wrote it
I'm
down.
probably in there already if you just
Oh yeah, she
type
might.
in Karen.
She's in my address book. Yeah.
Oh cool.
Yes, Karen 70. Yes, that's it. Thank you. I like statistics. I'm one of those weird people. I like
Perfect.
geek out on it and stuff.
Oh, it's not
yeah.
allowing me to use a Hotmail address.
Oh no. Okay. You can do KarenMoore77 @gmail.
Doesn't like Hotmail, huh?
Yeah.
Because it's
I don't know.
Google.
I don't know.
Yeah, most
Is it
Google
2
stuff
O's
will only take
more?
out Google and
Yeah, there is 2 O's and more. Sorry.
Is there an
catch,
E too?
Christina. Yeah, MOORE.
Wait. I think one of our fields contain invalid data. Maybe. Oh, that worked now. Okay. Well, I actually think the Hotmail would have worked. I think I just had something entered in there wrong, but you can change
Okay.
it yourself if you want.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Looks like I'm already listed as user.
Well, I just
He did it.
I added it.
And Jan is on there?
Yeah, he put me on first.
Yeah, so basically you just go to analytics now and it'll show up when you go to analytics.google.com.
And that's on the left-hand side in the choices on the dashboard. Analytics.
Or is that
No, I don't
Or
have
though that's actually
Okay.
in Google.
No, I don't have a plugin. There is you can actually get a plugin. There is a plugin that shows you the analytics, like when you in the dashboard, like you're saying.
I just realized right after I said it that it wasn't you were in Google, not in.
Yeah, so this will show it in the dashboard, I guess, which is I guess it's kind of useful. But The reason I think it's important to have a Google Analytics account is because when you actually when you go to here, there's this tab called Content here, and if you go to Overview, sure, wait, it's not. Maybe it's not Content. Hold on. I think maybe it is Content. In-page analytics, I think. Wait, is this it? Yeah, this is really important. So what this does is it shows you where people click on your site.
Oh,
so once it finishes loading, it's going to give you little percentages on everything.
Wow.
Which is pretty important.
And how do you get to the Google Analytics?
Yeah.
Analytics.google.com.
You could just
But
Google Analytics.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
that's what I just did.
And then you just, but when you go there, you're going to be asked for username and password. What username?
I had
and
to
password?
send you an invite. If you don't have a Gmail account, it'll ask you to register.
Okay, so
Yeah,
if we
use your
used
Gmail
our own,
login.
pardon me.
I was just saying, I think you're using your Gmail login information.
You can associate
Yeah, I have a Gmail
email
account.
addresses too with your Gmail account.
Oh, I see.
With a
I see.
Gmail.
So it's
so that you
it'll
don't
hook
have
to
to
your
use
own
that
Gmail account, so you arrive at it through your own Gmail.
Yeah, and if you look, you should always have a Gmail account even if you're not using it, and then you can actually set it so that it forwards to your other email addresses. Just go into the settings and forward, and it'll forward to David at RiseUp.net.
Oh, okay.
But you have to. I don't even know if you have to have a Gmail account. I think with Analytics you can just create an account with any email address. But I actually did.
Didn't you just put it onto the dashboard?
I did, yeah. But like I
Yeah,
said, it's not going to
so-
give you this sophisticated.
Oh,
not the
okay.
same
it's
one.
not going to give you all the breakdowns. Okay.
So plus I still haven't. Looks like you have to enter the. So oh yeah, by the way, you know, analytics is definitely not set up. It's definitely not set up for the other sites necessarily. Wait, what the hell is the name of this plugin I just added? Google Analytics dashboard. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I have to do something here. GA dashboard, there it is. And now it wants the. Oh gosh. I'll set this up when I get home.
Okay.
So what would that be under? Settings? No. On the dashboard.
Yeah, when it arrives.
Yeah, no. Everyone has a dashboard, right?
Yeah.
So when you log in, so
Yeah.
like if I go to the dashboard here for the main
Right.
site, this is where it'll appear. And keep in mind too that you can customize all of this. Like if you don't want, as I don't, you know, to see any of this crap, there's lots of additional stuff here that's just totally unnecessary. You know, that's basically all that I want to see usually.
But I think what she means is where will we find analytics in the list under the on the
Yes.
left hand side?
Oh, well, you're not going to need to look for it because it's just going to appear here. I'm
okay.
going to make it so that this works. And then
Okay.
once the settings are changed, you don't have to worry
Oh, I
about
see.
it.
So
So you
it'll
mean
it'll
it'll
show up in
just
the
be-
main page.
Yeah, it shows up. It's a dashboard widget. It just basically shows the information from here, from the Google Analytics page. It shows it, or at
What do
least
you mean
some subset of it here.
I think
It'll,
what he's
it'll give
saying
you
is
it'll give you just a basic amount of information
Just right on the page. Just right at the
right
top
when
of
you
the
log
page.
in. Right when you
Wow.
log
Yeah.
in.
when you hit the dashboard, it'll be one of the widgets. I
Yeah.
guess it is underneath there.
Yeah, it's one of these. It's just.
Won't be clickable.
I don't know if it'll be clickable. I don't know what it's going to do. Actually, I've never used that plugin, but because I always just go here, it's still not working. Oh yeah, look at that! Clicks with more than 0.1%. Wow, it doesn't even show anything. Huh.
What does that mean? We're not getting very much traction. We're not getting visitors on the site.
No, because it's a percentage breakdown, so that's weird. I think it's still not loading correctly. One of the things I try to do sometimes too is be logged out when I do this, because as you can see, it thinks that I'm logged in. So,
Okay.
you know, sometimes it's good to be logged out when you check analytics. But just go to Google Analytics and then, you know, like you can set up like an alert or something that'll happen like if there's a lot of traffic, and that'll remind you that you have an analytics account and that you can go and look at the statistics. But But what I'm showing you here is the page you'll want to see. It's not working right now. It kept giving me an error. But it will actually show you what people click. And I can guarantee you that those drop-down menus are just not used. And so you should just avoid them. And instead of doing drop-down menus, what you do is you have a page that, you know, is an info page that then has links to those subsets, rather than having them as a drop-down. You really just want the most important things. You have to really, really narrow it down.
Like the newsletter on the right, it isn't a drop-down menu. They click on it and they go straight to the newsletter, rather than the drop-down.
Any other?
And so you recommend that rather than drop-downs.
Well, what I'm saying is that you should, like a successful website. I mean, I'll just show you the site that I don't know. This is one of the sites that I manage. You know, it's a very small subset of links. That's it. Just the main things. That's it. And that's even too many. But you know, you just want a few things, because most of these, like if I go into analytics, like I can guarantee you that actually this is used quite a bit, because this is just something that our users use and just have it set up that way. But I can tell which of these are clicked, and generally speaking, people click here at the top and not any of these ones below. So you want to do is just figure out what the main traffic comes to your site for, and I can tell you what it is. You know, they're interested in the calendar. It's always really important, the calendar. Probably the link to the, like if you had medical or the newsletter, you know, those were really popular, I think even electronically. But you have to use analytics to confirm those suspicions, and then that's how you design your link structure. But it's like a labyrinth right now. There's too much. You have to just narrow it down. And I don't know. I could go on and on about how to actually organize a site, but let me just say, I mean, the simplest thing to say is make it simple.
Can you go to the...
Oh, here we go. So it's working. So look at that. Forms is 33%. Jeez.
So people that want to actually submit something, they're probably over and over again trying to submit an event for the last 3 months.
Well, the forums is where when we have a GA.
No, forms. Forms as in like the event submission form.
Look, this button is hardly clicked at all.
Which one?
This
the forums.
Wow,
I thought that'd be more.
So people are using the subject tags or the category tags. That's being used somewhat.
Interesting.
The calendar events aren't going to be clicked. You're not going to see because they change all the time, so they're not going to have a large percentage of clicks because they're not permanent. But that's pretty significant. So anyway, you can see how powerful this is.
Yeah, I love it. And you what did you hit to make it so that you checked on how many?
It just said view and full screen when it didn't work. So.
Oh no, I meant what was it that you hit to give it our percentages on the page?
It was under content and then in-page analytics.
That was it. In-page
analytics is what it's called. Okay.
Is it only the administrators who can see the analytics, or?
No, it's all the people I just added.
Right, that's what I meant.
Well, they're not admins.
Okay.
They're just people that asked to be added.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just people that well, no, because when I do that plugin, the dashboard should show some of those statistics, but it's definitely not going to be as sophisticated as if you go to the Google Analytics site.
Got it.
And also, the thing about the site is it's just, you know, it's made for that purpose. I mean, I could get you a plugin, but it's not going to be as helpful.
Yeah.
Can we go to the media groups page that you made for 1 second? Because one of the things that I got stalled out on was trying to get things in that you had it in a iframe code kind of thing to be able to put things in there, and I was having trouble figuring out it's actually the whole separate little subdomain website. I know this isn't probably as useful for others, but I was trying to see what happened to me was a couple of, see how the TV episodes went away, and I couldn't figure out how to, I don't know what happened to them exactly, if I messed up the code or...
Where?
There was like you have on the live streams, there was thumbnails next to our, like up on the top, where it says Occupy TV episode 4, there was like a link and a thumbnail that took you to episode 4, but it quit working.
Do you mean like the picture of the video?
Yeah, like, I mean, just the link that takes you to the video. Like, I wanted to put all the videos in their own little squares under the Occupy TV.
Well, you just have to recopy the embed link, it looks like.
For some reason, I was copying it, and it was just automatically changing every single time I did it. I was like, I couldn't figure out...
Oh, okay, well here, there's also... Okay, this is the part that's showing up in the excerpt. So this is the part that Carla Newberry... Yeah, I had that same problem with live stream before.
So separate from the live stream, should be on... Can I link it to YouTube? Because all of our stuff is on YouTube now. On Occupy. So, like, I guess what I'm trying to do is figure out how to put a TV episode in one of those boxes that's off of our media. There. Yeah. No, don't do a post ignorance. Do a... Yeah.
So, share, embed, that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, then you just, what episode is this?
I think it's episode 3, series 2, episode 3, I believe. I'm guessing just because it was at the top, it would be the last one.
Yeah, this is the thing I really want to get updated, because if you are just, there's been a few TV shows and radio shows I've been looking for, and it takes me forever to find them on the internet. And so that's getting them all together.
I've wanted to fix it forever.
Yeah.
So this is 2.03.
Yeah, it just means it's the second series, the 3rd episode.
And would you know when it was done?
Yeah,
I was actually putting the air date in here, and the reason I did that is because then it sorts it correctly. Like,
okay, yeah, I mean, it started playing last Saturday. So that would be March. It started playing on the 23rd.
So there's no information about it. Okay, so...
Sorry, yeah, I just put it up and I actually barely got it posted. I didn't get a chance to put anything on it.
Well, I'm just going to put that there, and
I'm just
going to say Occupy TV.
Bankbusters. You could say Occupy TV, second season, episode 2, Bankbusters.
Who's it with?
Fergus McLean and Emily Ryman.
That second C in McLean is not necessary.
I think it's actually MAC, isn't it?
I thought it was
MC.
Is it? Oh man, I might be writing it wrong. Oh,
Ryman, I know. You have a different spelling.
I think it's REIMAN.
Yep. I remember.
So, now that should appear here. There it is. Click it, and there's the embed. Actually, you know what I just realized is that with WordPress, you don't even need to do the embed anymore. You just put the URL in. So if I just copy this URL here and then just paste it in, I don't even need to. That's all you need, because WordPress is set up to automatically embed videos. And
so what does it look like on the original page then now? The page, not this page, but the page that has the list of everything?
Well, I don't have a picture there. I could put the little embed thing in there.
I think that must be what you did to make it so we could have the pictures.
Yeah, no, you could do that. I mean,
and that is kind of what we want. We want to have the little thumbnail next to them.
So I could probably change this. See, what I was doing too is I was changing the width and height to fit the boxes as they were.
Maybe that was my problem. Maybe that's what I didn't get right.
Maybe, I don't know. It's possible, but what you have to do is just look at one of them. See, because this is pretty small, if you notice here.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if I click Edit Post, then I can see it's down here. So I did it 300 by 200 is what I was doing it at. obviously I could find that quickly, but you know, we're dealing with the excerpt here, so you should know to look down here. So if I go here and I just do 300 by 200, then it will fit, you know, that will ensure that it will fit within the little box, like that.
Yay. Okay.
So I use the embed code, and then I change the height and the width.
See what happened under the Occupy TV episode 4? Like it's way over there. I think that's what underneath the TV 2.03 you just did, where the Occupy Eugene
yeah, it's just fucked up. You just need to go get the right embed and just copy this.
Okay.
Basically, you know.
That's what I'll do then, because that's what I was trying to do, was copy off what you had, and for some reason I could not get that embed thing to work for nothing. But
I don't know what this is, so let's just trash this because it's like nothing. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll play with that then, because I think that's kind of
yeah. The site is the site is good. You know, I mean, to fix this one, it just. I mean, first of all, it has this bullshit live stream stuff in here, so you
yeah.
edit the post, and I mean, I can see that that's right at the top here, so I would just kind of get rid of that. And this isn't correct. There's no embed here, so that's why it's not working. So I mean, for now, I'll just delete it until you get the right embed code.
Okay.
Maybe this is correct. This embed code here, we can view the post and see. It's not. She's not working.
Yeah, that's what somehow.
Well, it's just the embed code's fucked up, so you have to go back to the video and
get it and just redo it
yeah.
with them. I think that's what I was missing, was the embed thing. I didn't quite catch that.
So do you understand the principle there?
I think so.
So embed is just, you know, what it's doing is it's taking content from another site, putting it into a small frame, and displaying it from there. It's not content that's on our site, hence embedded.
Yep.
From another site.
Okay.
Alright, I gotta go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for your time. I think it was
on
immense
the,
learning
but
experience.
linking the Gmail account, you just go into the you edit your account, and you just add an additional email account. Is that all you do?
With Gmail?
Yeah. So that I can get into Google Analytics.
I think you should be able to just go to the Gmail account that you have and up there.
Just click the analytics link and follow the directions to begin with.
Okay.
That's what you want to do.
Because I have a Gmail account.
It might not ask you for a Gmail account, like I said.
Oh, okay.
I'm not certain. If you need to make a Gmail account, then make a Gmail account, and then if you want to do the forwarding. You know, I'm on the page right now. You just go into settings on your Gmail page.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, you go into settings on Gmail, and then you go to forwarding and POP and IMAP. It's right at the top here. Forwarding, POP, and IMAP.
Oh, okay.
And the settings.